And college gives zero attention to that. They literally make it sound like it's your problem. So getting a job is your problem. Understanding collaboration is your problem. Getting like latest knowledge about what's working in industry is your problem. Then what the college for? And the thing that I love the most right now is we live in the world of proof of work. It was not for all fields back then, but now it is because everyone can create. Your business analyst, your software developers. If you don't have actual working things that you can show for yourself right now, it does not matter which college you went to, like your US, your HCI degrees.
So, as you also mentioned that you and your team are zero, and I hear that zero. So, tell us more about that. Like, what is zero, and how did you transition into this field?
Zero, explaining zero is, and I've been doing that a lot, it's literally a 30-minute task because it is such a broad experience that we're trying to solve for and that we're creating. But let me give you a small example.
Yeah.
Let's say back in the day, like, decades and decades ago, when none of the TV and everything existed, villages used to have this puppet shows. So people would surround this one guy. He has this puppet show. There is this some story that he tells through that. Everyone's watching, and that's the only source of entertainment. So you just watch it, and that's how stories are communicated. You're like, great. Does not You don't like the story? Like none of those are even options to choose from. You're like, it is it. Everyone has to absorb. Dekhne ka to dekho, and you're like, हाँ, अब यही है तो देखेंगे. From that to one village in the one house in the village having a TV, and people are watching Mahabharat, people are watching Doordarshan pe movies that you have to watch for half an hour of breaks because only option. We don't have other options, so you just sit and watch. Now the world of entertainment has evolved from that to then families having TV, and that's where I came in. Like I remember my childhood, a single television, me, mom, dad, my sister, all of us to watch, and you have your hours there. Okay, at 5 to 6 p.m. I watch Pokemon, Digimon. Those are my hours, but every other hours, like adults have more control. So when you come back home from school, you're like, okay, I'm watching this. Kasauti Zindagi Ki, Saas Bhi Kahi Bahu Thi, and you just have to watch it because mom's watching it. There's no other option out of it. And maybe I'm old, so maybe my age group can relate to it. Like it's so embarrassing at one point when you're getting out of the school bus, walking to your home, and you're like, oh, so Mihir kaun tha aaj pata chalega. And you're like, shit, bhai. Like I've stooped really low, but that's the life. Uh, like options didn't exist, right? But imagine this industry of entertainment has evolved from that puppeteer to one TV in a village to a TV at home that whole family watches. Now to every family having a Netflix account with multiple profiles where parents watch something that clicks for them, to a kid watch something that clicks for it, to siblings who watch the same Stranger Things but at their own convenience. Someone's on episode 3, someone's on episode 8 based on what they choose right now and what they like. I'm watching psychological thrillers, someone else is watching rom-coms. Like imagine how entertainment as a space is so personalized to me based on what I want right now and what are my big interests. Entertainment, evolution, right? People solve with experiences, all of these things. Another industry, education. Decades and decades back, एक पेड़ के नीचे one person would teach 40 different people. 10 साल
Yeah.
बाद एक बिल्डिंग के नीचे 40 people, same class, same teacher. 10 years more, AC rooms, same teacher, 40 different people. Like imagine something that was not even as important as deciding factor in your life, like entertainment, it actually over the time got optimized for personalization to cater for a person's need. Education just stayed the same throughout. They never really evolved into solving for a person. And trust me, education is such an important space in your life because that actually decides so much of your future in terms of what you do for the next 60 years of your life, 8 hours a day. Like you are a designer right now, but you figured it out in the last couple of years. But what was the 16 years of education system doing? Like, think about it. We develop consciousness at some point in time, but उससे पहले हमें क्या पता था कि I don't know why, but I wake up every day. I wear this uniform at 6 in the morning. I hate it. I get into the school bus. I spend 8 hours in this, and I come back home. You never chose it. You were just put into this framework, and you're doing it until you start asking a question: why? And that comes very late, and then you realize, oh, you know what, in life everyone likes to have great things. To In order to be able to afford it, you need money. For money you need a job. For a job, you need a degree. For a degree, you need a university. For that, you need to do your 12th and get education. Like all of this is backtrack, backtrack, backtrack. Like no one came and said, ki, oh, I want to be knowledgeable for no random reason. Like, no, everyone wanted this. So this is the way to get there. They're like, okay. Now, around class 10th, you're like, okay, around class 10th, you're like, wait, you have to choose between, in India, you would call it like
Streams,
maths or bio or
science.
arts.
Yeah.
And yeah, and at that point, you're like, but wait, what am I choosing? They're like, oh, these, you can be this. And I'm like, but what does this mean? Like, what is the life after that? Like, what does it mean to be an engineer? What does it mean to be a doctor? What does it mean to be any of this? Like, no one's coming and telling me what is a life that I'm trying to opt out for. And then you realize कि किसी को नहीं पता. Like everyone is just saying that I'm good at maths, so I'll take this, but you're not. Like someone who's an engineer right now can tell you that मैं बैठ के maths नहीं कर रहा हूँ या मैं बैठ के books नहीं पढ़ रहा हूँ, मैं actual चीजें solve कर रहा हूँ. Like imagine a system that was designed for so long. Like there is no experience that you spend 16 years in right now, but education is, which does not even take time to be like, let me tell you what your life would be if you choose this. There is no simulation experience when you choose. So you just go like, किसी को नहीं पता चल रहा, सब कर रहे हैं, तो मैं भी कर लेता हूँ. सब ऐसे choices कर रहे हैं with whatever data points. Again, you're doing this with no data points of what you're choosing, but you do it. And then you'll be like, you know what? कोई बात नहीं. 10th, 12th में पता चल जाएगा. You do 10th and 12th and you realize it's a high pressure environment where you just have to like mug up things and prepare for some random exams. Then you go like, you know what? Okay, maybe I'll learn this, and when I just have to get into university and they will make me smart. They will teach me how to do things. Until you realize that universities are just a platform that filters people. So IITs will come and say that I have these 3, 4 exams. You give this exams, and I will pick the top 0.001% janta out of it and put it in my college. NID will come and say I'll take these top 0.001% of the most creative, will put in my college. And then you realize that these places are not places that make people smart. They just filter out the smartest people, pull them in the same bucket. And these guys just do amazing because they were meant to do amazing any which ways. So the college does not really add value to it. Now, think about college as a system. Uh, it has to promise you three things. One, I'm going to give you amazing education. Now, I come from NIFT, and I can tell you that our curriculum was so outdated that we were being taught Dreamweaver and Adobe Flash 5 years after Adobe itself had cancelled them. There is no one who's activating the curriculum or bringing it to life. And this
Yeah.
was in 2012. Now, and again, academia was struggling to catch up with the industry. Like what you do
The
in your
industry.
job and what you're studying has no connection whatsoever.
Still today.
After AI, after AI, no hopes. There is no fucking way they can catch up because हमसे ही नहीं हो पा रहा है. तो वो तो क्या ही करेंगे, right?
Exactly.
They will wait for books to be written on something that is evolving every week. There's a new model. The world changes. Like
Yeah.
there's no one's gonna write a book about that and put it on a curriculum. So we are struggling through that now. So curriculum wise, education in today's day, it being relevant, zero chance. So college fails at the first promise. Second promise it does to you is like, I'm gonna give you a social life. Now, social life के मामले में, like if you have unofficial freshers, it is shamed. Your college has curfew hours around 7, 8 p.m. that girls can't go out. If you like, every structure is like, okay, don't do this, don't do that. Like the social experience itself does not really give a lot of value. And if you're able to get great company in your peers around you, now think about it. Like how you were in college for 4 years, right? Or 2 years?
2 years master.
Masters, right?
Yeah.
How many great friends did you make in that time?
3 to 4. I mean,
3 to 4, right? Huh. How much did you spend on these 2 years?
So masters, of course, the situation is different because we also get money in IT. But I would
Oh,
say,
nice.
yeah. But if I was not in IT, then it would have been like a lot, like 4, 5 lakhs in 2 years, mostly.
That's
Aram
still
se.
cheap. That's still cheap. I can tell
I
you
am talking
right
about
now, like,
IIT.
yeah, and you're lucky, like it charges less and it's a government college. But even government, I
Yeah.
think NIFT right now is easily squeezing out around like more than 12,
10,
13. And I
12
think if you
lakhs.
go to,
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you
NIT.
think about all of these guys, and if you think about
Yep.
like MITs and lovely professional universities, like they go in 20s. If you think about going to
I
US,
know.
that's like 100K and more, like it's crores, right? Now
Yeah,
imagine
yeah.
if social
Easily.
experience is the only outcome of it that is actually valuable in terms of network. Each friend of yours that you made four, and if you're not in IT, you'd be spending like 4 lakhs per friend. I'm like, I have made good friends, but I don't think I'd spend 4 lakhs in getting them for sure. So again, like not the most best outcome out of it, right?
Hmm.
The third thing is they're like, oh, you know what? The last person who was in here, they made a package of, and again, IT has this a lot, like, oh, 2 crore package, 3 crore package, 1 crore package. The reality is that's only one. If you open Lovely Professional
Yeah.
University's homepage right now, it's going to be yelling, we got like a 3-4 crore package for one student. In a batch of 25,000 people that you've picked, one person got a package, and that is your pull for
Yeah.
the next 25K. Now, the reality of these colleges are, and I can say that because in the last 2 3 years, I've been to every IIT, NID, NIFT around India, and every kid in third year, fourth year is like, I have zero faith that my college is going to get me a job. I have to figure something out by myself. And
Yep.
I think people start feeling that around third or fourth year. Now, think about this. In colleges, they have something called placement cells, which
Yep.
is a fancy name for juniors sitting in and calling and mailing companies begging them to come for placements. Like imagine you paid this amount to get a short job or something at the end of this, and even that is something they make students do the labor, not themselves. They don't have industry connections the way they're supposed to have. So eventually, the three promises that universities are supposed to do, they fail on all three. And I think last year there were 5,000 people in IIT, the cream of the cream of India, who didn't have jobs. And worldwide in US, 70% of the people who actually get a degree, they end up doing a job that was not related to the degree. So in the
Yeah.
end, the system is definitely not working out. And what I can tell you for sure is what you're being taught in college and what you are expected to do on your day one in your job is not related at all. Every single design student who has learned about double diamond, that oh, I'm going to do primary research, secondary research, I'll make a wireframe, then high fidelity, low fidelity prototype, all of that, your day one is a PM coming and saying ये फट रहा है, कल release करना है, developer टाइम नहीं है, इतने में ही change करना है, do what you can do in this, figure out. Like imagine 16 years for this one event of your life, and none of it is about any of this.
Yeah.
Because ये दुनिया और ये दुनिया जो आपस में कनेक्ट होनी चाहिए थी वो है ही नहीं. And the reason
Yep.
why a college can never do that is because college is not promising you a job or an interview. College is promising you that I will give you this piece of paper of a degree that you can show it to someone if
Hmm.
they ask, have you studied? Like, imagine how messed up is this system जहाँ पे एक और इंडस्ट्री जो पर्सनलाइज 10 सालों से होते 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 तुम्हें लिटरली तुम्हारे पसंद का शो तुम्हारे फोन पे टू रिज्यूम वेर यू लेफ्ट, लाइक इट हैज दैट मच अमाउंट ऑफ पर्सनलाइजेशन इन्वॉल्व, वेर एज दिस अदर
Yep.
इंडस्ट्री literally puts 40 people in the same class year after year, not giving a fuck about what they are meant to do. And again, that's why one of the reasons I hate education system
Yep.
a lot. I think
Yeah.
zero is all about being efficient and being backward towards the goal that we're actually trying to achieve here. Like right now, if you think about jobs, people think that, oh, starter jobs don't exist. I have to try so hard to get a job. The reality is not that. The reality is that people know that if I hire a fresher, I have to train them for 6 months or 3 months before they actually do something that's meaningful to me.
Yep.
Before that, I have to take so many rounds of interviews to actually not even get a basic skill out of it. Like, why do you think we have
Hmm.
11 rounds of interviews, 5 rounds of interviews? Because 16 years of this system existing has no data to pass forward. Like, why is every person a name on a resume and so many data points that cannot be verified? Like on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
there is actually a profile that says I'm the CEO of Google, Meta, Apple at the same time, and it still exists because there's no one who can say this is not true. Like you can literally put up anything and there is no way to verify it. That's why recruiters have to do like, okay, first round, let me give it a vibe. Can you even communicate with people? Then like, do you have domain knowledge? Last is like, do you have soft skills? Because how do you choose a person to work with? You need to have good hard skills in terms of your domain. You need to have good soft skills in terms of, are you even a likable person to sit next to for 8 hours a day? Like that's how people choose who to work with. We have been existing in this education system for 16 years, and there is no data point that can be given to a company. Like,
Mm-hmm.
imagine the inefficiency of that. And that's why they have to do 5 rounds, 11 rounds of interviews to see if this person is worth it or not.
Yep.
Now, going back, if I have to be productive on day one, I need to actually know how these companies work. What can a PM ask me? What can a developer ask me? But when you're in college,
Exactly.
and Simran, you were there, right? Did
Yeah.
you ever get educated in a way that what will your company ask you to do on your first week? Like, did you have any insight, or were you just left to figure it out once you step in?
Of course, like nothing from the curriculum, but all these things is something that we figure out on our own through seniors, through connecting with people, right? So,
Exactly.
totally understandable.
Now, imagine this. 16 years of your time, the amount of homework, effort you did, the amount of experiences that you missed in your life because of those times, right? The money that your parents saved and gave month after month to these institutions. Like,
Yeah.
it took so much and gave so little in return. And it is highly
Mm-hmm.
inefficient for so many years. Now, the
Yeah.
way Zero works is it actually says that if you have to be a data scientist at Tesla, let's go back from there. What, like, instead of teaching you random fundamentals, basics that you'll never use, and processes that look good on notebooks and books which were done 50 years ago, are not even relevant
Yeah.
today, why not come back from what is required from you on day one? So in Zero, it's actually a simulation of a work experience where you actually are put in this experience of you're actually a data analyst at Tesla. This is your boss.
Mm-hmm.
So we have AI coworkers that actually work like people. They are your managers. They will give you a task, and then you will learn how to do it on the way. Everything is figured out, but in an experience. So what you do is you actually work for real companies in the realistic
Okay.
scenarios that they actually work in. You gain real skills that are actually relevant in your everyday life with these teams, and you learn real tools. You're not learning Dreamweaver in the day of Figma. You're learning actual tools. And
Yeah.
when you do this enough number of times, and you keep doing projects, and you keep moving from Tesla to Airbnb to Microsoft to Google, and every time you get done with a task or project, you actually have to present it. Now, so far that you've been working in this company, there must be a first time that you went in a room full of stakeholders and you went like, okay, guys, this is a solution that I've given. And then someone goes like, but what made you think that way? Like, imagine that grilling that starts. No one prepares you for that. No one's actually trying to tell you that, hey, just doing a solution is not enough. Getting it through people is the real deal. 80% of this is actually managing people expectations, how industries work. No one's actually training you for that. You're just thrown into it and you figure it out. So Zero also takes
Yeah.
care of that. So it actually makes you present it to your AI stakeholders. They grill you. So you understand how to defend your choices, how to actually explain your choices, because communication is a big part of how things move in the real world. Now you do these enough, and one reality that was amazing about design is it didn't matter which college, which school you're from. The only thing that mattered was proof of your work. 15 seconds into your portfolio, a person knows that if you're someone they want to hire or not. And that is the beauty of a proof of work, a portfolio, and Zero gives you that. Every project that you do with these co-workers, figuring it out yourself, gets added to a portfolio that eventually gathers into a solid proof of work. Now imagine personalization to a way where if I'm spending so much time with you, seeing how you learn, seeing like some people learn like this, some people learn like this. Imagine understanding you as a person to this extent by when you spend like a month, 2 months, 3 months on us. Every data point understood. Like imagine the data that was never processed in the last 16 years. When that is processed to this nitty gritty, I actually understand you in terms of your growth curves, in terms of your communication skills, your hard skills. And I wanted to remember back in the day when Figma used to have this progress bar. No, not Figma. Your portfolios would have like, which tools do you know? And people would put like
Yeah.
Figma, Adobe, and they'll put a progress bar. Who knows what 100 stands
Uh,
for? How do we know? How do we understand? In Zero, I can tell you that. I can actually tell you that what 100% in Figma guy would look like and where do you stand as compared to that. Like every data that you've put in about you is no longer assumed, it's actually proved. So when a recruiter drops a JD inside Zero, I can actually map a 99% match to him, saying that the communication skills, the stakeholder management, the tool skills, everything that you need, the type of projects that you're looking for, this guy is the exact match. Why? Because he's literally done this 1,000 times in Zero. So And imagine the pitch for them. They're like, do you need someone who you don't have to search for? Because I'll come to that. That will hit the ground running on day one, and you don't have to spend insane amount of money to find them. Do you want them? They're like, yeah, do give it to us today. So it's Zero is such a brilliant, easy pitch for them because they actually want it. There are companies like Handshake in US that charge billions to companies just to give them access to data of college students working different colleges. Like it's just a list of students, and just for that list they charge billions. Like companies are paying for that data. So it's not like companies don't want to get starter talent. There's just no way to find good starter talent, so they just give up and they go like, I'll just get someone experienced. Like starter talent is such a great uh, pool to invest in because you're insanely high on motivation and you just want to prove everyone wrong and you do crazy things. It's great energy, but isko mold karne ke liye it needs time and energy from other people. But Zero does that
Yeah.
for you. Zero actually already turns you into this amazing laser focused missiles that they know the thing and they have done this part with Zero, so they don't have to do that in the company. At Zero, if I do my job right and if my team actually does what they're supposed to do right, we can literally change how education system is perceived, done, and run throughout the world. And because Zero does not charge students, a kid in a small village in Nigeria can have the same quality of education as someone sitting in New York. Like imagine the delta shift that happens with this one move is insanely huge. And that is something that can give you a lot of dopamine. Like, can I actually break this system that has worked against me, that I've hated for the longest time in my life? If I can change that, and I think have just the right people who are working on this, I think that's the reason why this shift happened. And that's why, like last 1 year, uh, my fitness levels have dropped. My skin routine is shit. I recently got married. I'm not spending enough time with my partner. We are working 14, 15 hours a day. It is so bad, but everyone is run by the same fuel that we actually can make a difference and we want to. So let's bring this change. And like this would not have been possible before AI. Like
Yeah.
there is no way I could make a system that could personalize education to every single person to this extent in an efficient way because the job is not to entertain you. The job is to actually get you hired. And that is going to define how you live your life for the next 50, 60 years and people attached with you. Like it's a big change in your life trajectory, what it does. So it required a lot of nuanced technology behind it. And it is possible now. And the reason why Zero itself will also do well is because we didn't make a tool. Like Zero is not a uh, like a it's not like a product tool of like okay, product management, or it's not like a what Whisperflow does as a voice conversion. Like it's not this one tiny thing. It's a plethora of different tools coming together to create an experience on top. So my job is to actually help you understand context. Like some of the features that we have is so counterintuitive to first order thinking that in a world where you have granola that actually takes your meeting notes automatically and transcribes them and does all of that, at Zero you have to make notes because when you make a note, it gets drilled in your brain. In a
Yep.
world where you can
Yeah.
actually assume that you're learning things by throwing context into Claude and it just doing things, we actually have something called proof of progress where we hold your experience and we're like, we're going to do a back and forth talking as a manager. Tell me, what did you understand? Like, I'm going to question you so that you don't ever pass through things without grasping it because this generation is the 15-second scroll, attention span fuck. Like, we are those people. So, how do I make sure that you're grasping things? Like, every single thing is designed to make you absorb and understand, but using AI and personalizing it to your core. That has kind of come together to build Zero and bringing all of this together. And I don't think there was a better time to be a designer, to be a builder, to creator than today with all of this AI. So if someone tells me, is AI going
Yeah.
to eat my job? Like, if with so much opportunity right now, it eats your job, then maybe you didn't deserve that job. Like maybe, maybe
Yeah.
someone else could do a far better role at that.
Guys, if you've enjoyed these episodes, please do subscribe because every week I'm trying to bring designers, founders, builders who are shaping the future of AI and design. So let me know if you would love to see someone on this platform. Till then, see you in the next episode.